thanks. Like, hey, Scoob, did you hear Nikki Blake is hosting a Scooby-Doo panel? No. Yeah. Like on today's Scooby-Doo episode, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy meet Nikki Blake. Yeah, and a Scooby Panel. Like, we need to get this puppy started. Okay, Nikki Blake, take it away, Scooby-Doo.
Welcome to the Scooby Panel. I'm your host, Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com. Today we're talking about the Scooby-Doo logo. Before we begin, I'll have everyone introduce themselves, and Wendy, will start with you.
Hi guys, I'm Wendy BRYDGE. I'm a commissioned artist and a 30-plus year Scooby-Doo collector.
Joel?
Hey there, I'm Joel from the YouTube channel Planet Scooby.
Glad to have everybody here. It's been a little while since we recorded, so this is good. Scooby-Doo logo. I knew that there were a lot, but I guess I didn't realize just how many there were. So we're going to take a look at those. So we have the first logo, which is the one that was on the promo for Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And I kind of think this is weird because there was no hyphen in Scooby-Doo. So is this actually the promo for Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
Oh yeah, this is the presentation board.
Yeah.
For sure. So originally they put it, it's so interesting though how like this is one of those things where you're to me anyway, I just automatically think of it. And it wasn't literally until this year that I realized that the actual Scooby-Doo Where Are You logo does not have the hyphen.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that they all had it. So clearly they originally were going to do it and then something changed because that is definitely the presentation board that they used to sell the show.
I thought it was, but then I was like, why does it have the hyphen? But we didn't see this logo again.
No.
And then we had the Scooby-Doo Where Are You logo that doesn't have the hyphen. And then I skipped ahead because this logo is so close to Scooby-Doo Where Are You that I wanted to put it here, and that was used for Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., Be Cool Scooby-Doo, and Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. This logo was used on the comics. I love this logo. This one is my favorite.
I like that too.
I liked to also that they changed the colors for the issues, so it wasn't always the same colors. The last issue of, I think, the Gold Key, it was all just white.
Oh, okay.
And then we have the new Scooby-Doo movies. I think it's very similar to the one for the Scooby-Doo show, Scooby-Doo and Dynamite and Laugh Olympics. I think it was just more textured, but the outline itself, I think, was pretty much the same.
It looks very similar.
Then we have the Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show and the Richie Rich Scooby-Doo show. And later, they had the comic books also had the same logo. I put these side by side because they are the same logo. It's just one's on two lines. And that was the new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show, the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries. And then if you noticed on the Archie comics, some of them had the logo on two lines and some of them had the logo just on one line. So it did vary a little bit on the comics. Here, the Archie comics, the first issue had the logo just in a straight line. And then here in 96, for I think this is number 12, it changed to basically the Scooby-Doo Where Are You logo. And I thought that was kind of interesting that halfway through the comic series, they just completely changed the logo on it. Then we have the logo for 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers, and Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. But oddly not the Ghoul School.
Yeah, and that would have suited Ghoul School so much better than what they went with.
Yeah. Then a pup named Scooby-Doo had its own logo. And we saw it again in 96 on the comic book. This is the normal logo, I guess, that is on pretty much everything right now. Most of the movies, a lot of the comics, they all have this logo. A lot of the merchandise has this logo. So I'd say it's probably the most common logo at this point. It is on all of the Scooby-Doo Where Are You complete series sets, which I think is odd because I feel like that should have been the Scooby-Doo Where Are You logo. But they did choose to use this one. Movie logo. And then What's New Scooby-Doo had its own logo. And I don't think that this was used for anything else. Maybe some merchandise, possibly.
Maybe.
But I don't think this was used anywhere else. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo get a clue. Scoob. And then there's some logos, I guess they'd be considered logos, that I thought were a little odd. Not something that was used very often. Like the Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King, there's no hyphen in Scooby-Doo again. So I don't know. I'm not sure why the logo wasn't consistent, at least like in those years that they were using it until they updated it to something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have all the logos together. It's interesting to see the differences between all of the logos. So we looked at all the logos and just curious, which one is your favorite? Wendy?
Okay, so I'm gonna cheat because technically I have two favorites, and everyone is going to be surprised what my second one is, though, and I don't know why it is so appealing to me because the show is not my favorite. I do think my absolute favorite logo, though, is the one that they started using with Scooby-Doo and Scrappy, because I guess if I had to choose, I do prefer it when it's it's the Scooby and then the Doo is underneath, which was like a little bit later. But that, I mean, I think I would be interested to see if this is a situation where it's like, what did you grow up with? That is probably what you really, really like. Because no doubt that to me, that 80s, 90s logo on all of like the merchandise that I saw growing up, that was what it was. And that to me, it just screams like early 90s coloring book covers on some of the comic covers. It's just this nice, like, it's got that nice like bubble kind of feel to it. And that's what I love about it. And I do feel like it is the only one that sort of has that bubbly kind of quality to it, except for the Pup Scooby logo, which is the runner-up for my favorite. And I don't know why I love that logo so much. It's the most fun, which I think makes sense given that it's a series about them as like little kids. So definitely excellent design choice on that. It also has everything is just very rounded and stuff, but no question, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy, especially when it's on like the two lines like that. It is odd to think about that, like that hyphen, and the majority of them do have it. It's really just that original series that, like, where is it? And like you showed the presentation board, they originally were going to put it. So that to me is kind of, that's the question of the day now, is where the heck did the hyphen go?
It is a good question. I would like to know the answer to that at some point. Joel, do you have a favorite logo?
Yeah, I think I share the same one as Wendy, the Scooby-Doo 2 line.
I do like that one better on two lines.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's something about it. Just it seems like a legit logo, and I do like the first one a lot, just Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, unhyphenated. But I don't consider it a logo. I just consider it like it just tells you everything about Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, I guess. Like the spookiness, but it's not, I guess it is a logo, but it just seems naked with it. Where are you? And The background, but that Scooby-Doo two-liner. I wish they just kept it consistent.
In looking at these, it is hard to really picture that some of them without the rest of the title card. Like get a clue, just taking out Scooby-Doo from that looks really weird on you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I also thought it was interesting. I don't know that I really realized that for Be Cool and Mystery Inc. that they did use the same type of logo as Where Are You?
Right.
Until I was putting all this together, and then I was like, wait, they're like the same logo, just a little bit different. Yeah, I'm still gonna go with the comic logo. I love it. I just it's so much fun. And I think it would have been a lot of fun. I know that they did use it on some merchandise. There's a pillow that I have that has it on it. But I think it would have been a lot of fun if they had used that on the merchandise, on the tags, and I like it. The Scooby-Doo or Pup Named Scooby-Doo, I think it kind of just the way that it's designed, the shape of it is kind of fun. Like you said, it's there's just something about it that I can't place like why I like it so much. But the way that the O's are done, how it's kind of like a continuous thing. I don't know. I can't really place why I like it so much. I just do.
Yeah.
Do you think that through the years, the logo has gotten better? Or do you think that they should have just kind of stuck with one of the older logos and not updated it? Joel?
For me, it kind of reached its height. Not its height, but it's like you said, better. But I think the one they have for 97 to present, and this could just be just nostalgia of just seeing it in stores on shelves. That Scooby-Doo. I think it started with, well, you had it for Witch's Ghost. I don't know if it started with Zombie Island or if it's post Zombie Island, but you had it for Witch's Ghost. That one, I think it's its peak for me. Like everything after, just looking at the list, I'm like, eh. Like that Caesar's Palace logo. It's like the same font as Caesar's Palace. Not a fan of that. The 2010 to 2021 where they go back to the original, I don't know. It just doesn't work the same for me. I don't know why. Even though it's identical, just looking at it, it just, yeah, I'm gonna stick with my 97 present. Like that's where I think it just kind of ended for me.
Wendy, what about you?
Yeah. I don't really like that 97 one, even though without question it's the most prevalent. And like Joel said, the 2010 to 2021 is the same as the original. And yet looking at them, it reminds me the most of the 97 one. And like in your graphic, they're one like on top of the other. And I'm looking at them and they're clearly not the same. And yet I feel like they look more alike than the 2010 one actually looks like the 69 one, even though they're literally the same thing, except they've added the dash and they've added an exclamation point on the end of it. I feel like all of the logos that came after the 85 to 88 version are just inferior in every way, shape, or form. But I also can't, like, I almost wish that they would have just been like, 69, this is our logo, and it never changed. And every single piece of Scooby merch and media that has ever existed all had a consistent logo. Ideally, I think I would like that. But there's no denying when you see them all together like that and you see the variations, I mean, it does add an element of fun It does date certain periods, which I think is totally fine when you're talking about like a children's franchise. I think that is like a fun aspect of it because it's nostalgia at the end of the day, and that's what we all want. So if they were going to do just one, like if I was going to choose from all of these, like just one that had been consistent, I don't know that 79 to 85 that I like the best. I don't know that would have suited Where Are You? So I kind of think that either Nikki, the one that you like with like the little eyes in it from the comics, or perhaps the one from Boo Brothers and Reluctant Werewolf, I think maybe would have been the most like universally accepted or appropriate for each and every series that existed, more so than the others. But I mean, that 97 one, it is in essence like a cleaned up version of the 69 one. If you really look at it, they've definitely based it on that, and they've just made it much more uniform. They've kind of like bulked it out a little bit. It is interesting looking at them like this. It looks like that 69 one that they just actually like left the dash off by mistake because there's so much space between the Scooby and the Doo. And it becomes so much more apparent with like looking at all of these other ones. I'll tell you the truth, the one that bothers me the most, I thought it was going to be the Get a Clue one. But it's that Scoob logo. Because it's the only one where I'm just like, why? To me, there's like nothing. It's not even that it's a bad logo. It's cool. But it's like the least Scooby-Doo to me out of everything. Because there are other interesting logos. So Scott sent me this for my birthday. It's dated 1974. It's an original like little promo that they would have sent out. And that's even different than all the ones that we've looked at. And yet, even though I understand that they don't really look anything alike, when I look at this, in some way, I can't describe it. I don't know why. It reminds me of that weird, pokey Get a Clue one. I don't know what it is about it because they look nothing alike. But for some reason, there's some like I can be like, oh, okay, well, that I don't really like it, but it makes sense. So I just because I'm someone that likes things that are just like this, I kind of wish that they'd have just picked one and stuck to it. But at the same time, it would be hard to choose one that I think would actually suit every single series that they ever had. So maybe it's good that they did redesign it all of these different times. But yeah, they're all so similar and yet they're completely different. It's very weird looking at them all together. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm conflicted about a lot of things just staring at it.
It is weird seeing them all together on one graphic.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that I could see the one that they used for 13 Ghosts and Boo Brothers as like the one that they could have just spanned the whole entire franchise. Because I do think that one, it does look kind of spooky, kind of ghostly. And I do think it would have worked for any of the iterations of Scooby-Doo. And I could also picture it on a video game cover. Yeah. I don't know, though, if I could picture that logo on merchandise.
Yeah, I could see that. It is less merch friendly.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the colors that they chose and the fact that they did change the colors, although keeping in mind that some of these logos on comics were different colors too than the ones that are on this list? Joel, your thought on the colors?
I'm the colorblind guy.
That's why I asked you first.
I like the black and white. I'm not even gonna say what colors I think they are because I couldn't really tell you.
I do want to know what colors you think some of them are.
So the one I like, I'm thinking it's yellow, the two-liner.
Hmm.
Um, the 13 Ghosts, it looks like pukey green to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wasn't sure if it was red, but it looks pukey green.
Yep.
That 2010 to 2021, I have no idea what that color is. Like, I don't know if it's red, brown, or orange.
It's kind of orangish, fading into a reddish brown.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
With a yellow outline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't like that color, whatever, because I guess because I don't know what it is. Um, yeah, I generally like the black and white. Like I like the Scooby-Doo show a lot, but I don't like the Scooby-Doo comedy, those movies, those
Hmm.
the one that predated it. Even though it's the same, like Nikki you mentioned in the intro, it's basically the same except without the texture. I don't like that one. But I love the Scooby-Doo show one because it's, I guess, simple black and white. So I'm sticking with that. Those are my colors, black and white.
Wendy, what are your thoughts on the colors?
Interesting. Now that I'm looking closer at it, I do think that this one is essentially the new Scooby-Doo movies. Scooby-Doo, just without all the fancy lines and stuff in it. Um, I actually like even though it is very difficult to read, I do love that particular logo. I love that the two-tone green. Um, it was definitely the most fun to paint because I got to shadow underneath the letters. So from like a strictly, I don't know how to say this, useless but pleasing to look at art standpoint, I love that two-tone green the best. Is that the best for everything? Absolutely not. I do think, honestly, black and white, that Scooby-Doo show one, is probably the better color palette because you could put it on anything and it's going to look good. But I do think it's very fun, the logos that, especially, obviously the Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo one, whether it's on one line or two, especially the two line though, because the main difference being that you're getting a black drop shadow, which sets off the lettering and does set the stage to where you can literally make the letters any color that you want. And like, I'm looking at two different Harvey comics right now. The one logo is like the stacked, the other is just straight across, and the straight across one, they've even kind of stretched it up a little bit, but it has the black drop shadow. One is red, one is like a yellowy green. Each one is perfectly suited to the cover and the artwork that it's on. And if I were to switch them and put the red one on the yellow and the yellow on the red, it wouldn't work as well on the cover. So I do think it was very smart to create logos that a number of them you can switch out the color. That is a good way of keeping something fresh and making sure that it is aesthetic on whatever you're putting it on, but it's still the same logo. So again, maybe another reason that one is perhaps the superior logo because it has consistency, but there's also room for varying it depending on what it's going on so that it will look good no matter what.
I'm not sure that I like that they changed the colors of the logos. Like, I feel like if they could have kept to a color scheme, it would have been a little bit easier, I guess, to look at them all together. But I'm not totally sure which colors I would pick. Like the purple and orange, I think is Scooby. But then the colors in the Scoob logo are Scooby too. So maybe I would have gone with one of those color schemes, but I'm not sure because some of these I don't know if they would have looked good in that color scheme.
Right.
So it is hard to tell. And looking at all of them together, like my brain almost can't even function right, because they don't look right all together in one thing.
Yeah.
Because they are all so different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fond of anything from What's New on.
Mm-hmm.
The What's New logo, I think, is just weird. The font is weird. It is similar to the Where Are You font, but not quite the same.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly what they were trying to do there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joel, I just see Caesars when I look at Get a Clue, and that's just weird.
Okay.
I like the Scoob logo, but because it's missing the Y, for me, that makes it hard to look at it.
Okay.
I feel like it's just they forgot the letter, even though it's not supposed to be there. But to me, they just kind of forgot it.
Yeah.
Of all of these, the one with the eyes, definitely. Changing up the colors though, like I'm not really liking the color scheme that I chose for this graphic for that.
Okay.
I would have done, it is mostly Scooby colors, but I guess I would have done maybe 2 colors as opposed to different ones for each letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you have designed a logo that could have spanned the entire franchise? Wendy?
Logos are very difficult to do. Not a fan of doing logos. I've done a number of them. I've not really loved any of them. It's very, very, very particular, and it's really easy to screw it up. I think that for the one thing I will say about looking at all of these is, in their own way, each one is successful. I don't necessarily think that any of those logos are bad. Other than that 2010 to 2021, there is something about that is just like not working. It's hard to read. It's hard to look at. That one, I think, is perhaps the only one that I'd be like, okay, fire the designer. The rest of them, for what they are, I can go along with that. I personally am a fan of things that have a very round appearance, which is why I do favor the stacked Scooby-Doo from 79 to 85 over Pup Scooby, because Pup Scooby is not just round, it's round but elongated, and that's two totally different looks. So the only thing, I mean, it's honestly impossible for me to like be like, okay, well, this is what I would have done as far as font goes, other than perhaps saying that I like the idea of a font that has some kind of spooky aspect to it. But again, you have to be really, really careful doing something like that with your logo, because it can so quickly make it difficult to see, to read, to be legible. We see with the new Scooby-Doo movies, as soon as you add like an element where you've got like too many lines, or you have too many layers of color, or you have shading mixed in with it, it can look really cool when it's up close. But the question is, when you like zoom out and it's just this big on a tag or on a comic book, can you read it? And just me sitting here looking at it on my phone, and it's about that big. I mean, I know what it says, but if I had never seen that logo before, I would be struggling to read it. I'd be like, oh, I don't know what that says. What does it say? And that's a huge no for me when it comes to logos. Now, does that same font work when it's just flat color, a black outline and flat color? Absolutely. Nobody, I mean, you could get 100 yards away and you could read that. So definitely it would be a black outline with a solid color. No matter what kind of font I went with, it would definitely be that. even though I like the aspect of something spooky, probably would not necessarily do that. Would maybe leave that kind of a design element for whatever the rest of the title of the show is. So the Scooby-Doo is just block lettering, nice, clean, a drop shadow. And then the Where Are You could have some kind of like flowy, more like the Boo Brothers one, where it's still quite legible. I think that logo would benefit greatly from a nice black outline. One that is like heavy enough that it kind of would like ground it a little bit and maybe lighten up the green some. The other thing that I would definitely have done, I like a logo that has a visual element. So I think Scooby's face should have been in the logo. Could have been a little silhouette, could have been a side profile. It doesn't have to be like a full-on portrait of Scooby. You know, you don't want to get it like too involved. But I think that I would have liked to have seen Scooby's face somehow incorporated into the actual logo, and that would have been carried out throughout the years. I think that also would have been really fun, given how they changed the logos. So your consistency could have been, okay, we're going to change the font, but we're also going to change the little picture of Scooby that goes with it and have it reflect the style of every different show that the logo was then attached to. But that's the main thing, is like with the logo, it needs to be recognizable, but above all else, it should be legible from any distance. You should be able to read it. So one flat color, black outline, black drop shadow, keep it quite plain and simple so it's easy to read. Put your flourishes in whatever the rest of your title is going to be, and like a nice little Scooby face at the end of the logo or something. And I think that's where I would go with it.
I think that would have been cute. Just like the outline of him, not his actual face, I think would have worked. Joel, how would you have designed a Scooby-Doo logo for the franchise?
I cannot give a good answer. So I'm going to give a wrong answer. And I'd say maybe I'd take the Mystery Machine logo and the flowers and just have it say Scooby-Doo in that font.
Oh.
And in the same kind of dimensions with the flowers and the colors, and just keep it consistent between the two. Because I think Mystery Machine logo has pretty much been consistent throughout the whole series, right?
I think
They
so.
might have modernized it a bit, but if we took a deep look at it, but you know, you'd have to take a deep look, unlike these ones. So that's what I'd probably do.
That's not a bad idea. I like that.
I like that too.
It would be simple and clean.
Yeah.
I might change the font though, doing something like that, just because sometimes I do think Mystery Machine is hard to read.
Yeah.
So I might change the font on that. And would you do like the D lined up with the S, or would you have it centered under Scooby?
I don't know. I think it'd depend on, because I was thinking both. I can't decide. I really
You'll
can't.
have to draw it so that you could see what it looks like.
Yeah.
If you had it boxed in like that, though, with the flowers, it might work better as just one line
Yeah.
instead of dropping it down.
But then I was thinking of like a round version on the wheel kind of spare tire thing, and you'd have to have it drop down, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna wonder what that would look like.
Yeah.
Someone will draw it at some point.
Probably.
We'll get to see what it looks like someday.
Yeah.
So I guess I would also want the logo to be clean. Like you said, Wendy, a solid color. I like when it's outlined in black and the black drop shadow. I do like that look for anything, just because it almost kind of makes it look like it's coming at you in a way, it's nice. I would have no clue what font to use, but I would want it to be something fun but not obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do like your idea too, Joel, with having it look similar to the Mystery Machine and the flowers. Yeah. We could just put them together, put the two ideas together. We'll have Scooby-Doo in a solid color. What color would you choose, Wendy?
It would depend if it was going to go on like the Mystery Machine type thing where there would actually be like a background to the rectangle or the circle that it was in. I would probably keep it Mystery Machine color, so the back would be blue and then that sort of limey yellowy green for the font. I think that's probably what I would go with.
Joel, what color would you do?
Yeah, I like that. The same.
I kind of like the colors in Scooby's collar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd want to go with like a teal color for the solid color and then have that outlined in black with the black drop shadow. But then I don't know how I feel about orange flowers being next to that. So I might do the flowers purple instead of orange.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be a good way to combine them. And then maybe the center of the flower could be Scooby's silhouette.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I think that could work. And that would combine both of your ideas.
Yep.
I like it. I need to see it. I can try to draw it, but I'm not very good at drawing letters.
You just said you looked at all these logos and you can draw
That's
them.
true. Yeah, you
Yeah.
said
Well,
you
I
could do it
could-
from memory now.
I could probably draw them from memory because I've been looking at them for so long. Would they actually look like that is the question.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like I know exactly what they look like, but putting that on paper, yeah, maybe not as easy as I claimed that it could be. Final thoughts on the logos. Joel?
I prepped for this panel because Nikki didn't give us any questions in advance. So I watched this SNL skit. Have you ever seen it with Ryan Gosling? And it's the Avatar font, the movie Avatar.
Okay.
And they make it into like a mini movie, and it looks really good. This little skit, it's like 3 minutes, but they use the Papyrus font
Oh.
for the Avatar movie, and this guy is like, for $1 billion movie, they use the Papyrus font, the most laziest. Like someone just went in a Word, typed Avatar, hit the drop down thing, selected Papyrus, bam, and that's how I prepared for this. I suggest anyone listening to watch that skit.
Okay.
I have no other final thoughts. I just want to get that out there. And I'm wondering if they did something with Scooby-Doo the movie, if they just, because it's kind of simple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If
It
they
is
just,
quite simple, yeah.
and just kind of maybe skewed things a bit so they weren't on the same line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that Times New Roman? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never been good at figuring out what a font is, but it is very simple.
Yeah.
A lot, even though some of these other logos are simple, that's like simpler than the rest of them. So,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wendy, your final thoughts?
Yeah, looking at them all, I'm reasonably impressed with again how well they work for what they are. I definitely, other than like the more modern ones, because I just feel like they're a little bit lazy. There's not really a lot of, like, to me, there's not a lot of design in it. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't have the same kind of like soul that the other ones have to me. But it's fun to be able to like change things up. I wish that the changes to Scooby were limited to the logos. if that was the only change that anyone ever made to Scooby and his formula and the character of the characters, I'd be, well, I was going to use a pig in excrement I was going to say it the other way. I'd be as happy as that. Unfortunately, that is not the case. And honestly, looking at the logos, it's like, well, it's no wonder that the ones that look kind of cruddy coincide with them making Scooby kind of cruddy. So surprise. But there is something very recognizable about all of them. And that does just play into that feeling of nostalgia. So if you go to the thrift store or you go to the antique store or you go look in your collection, the fact that you can date something by the logo is a pretty cool thing. So for that reason alone, it is probably, regardless of how we feel about it, it is probably better that they did change up the logo every once in a while and make it something reasonably different. Because, like I say, sitting here, I can see umpteen different Scooby logos within my collection, and the logo alone tells me roughly when was that piece made. And I think that that's a really fun and useful tool. So, again, logos are hard to do. Kudos to whoever did them, because they, for the most part, they do suit Scooby. And they give it a sense of fun. But yeah, the scrappy Scooby-Doo logo is like, it just is what it is. It looks the best on the merch. It looks the best in the show. It looks the best on the comic book. So once again, scrappy saves the day. I'm sorry, Nikki, I had to. And I'm fighting the urge to whip out a scrap because there's like 10 of them around me that I could just like bring up at any moment, and I'm not going to do it. But
I appreciate that. Thanks.
But you will now have to put a graphic of Scrappy on the screen, so you're welcome.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll put a Scrappy with the circle and the line through it.
Okay.
I had talking about the Scooby-Doo logos on my list for a long time, and then Noah sent me a graphic that had like 6 logos. And I was like, oh, okay, like there's 6 logos, maybe a couple more because, the comics and stuff like that. I did not expect to have 14 different logos.
Yeah.
I thought, if there's 6 on that, maybe 3 or 4 more. But yes. And I did include the comics just because I feel like comics can sort of be media.
Yeah.
So I did include them. If we included everything that has ever had a logo, I'm sure we could find more logos.
Oh yeah.
But 14 was good. 14 was good. So yeah. I do like the Scooby-Doo Where Are You logo, and I guess that would have worked through the entire franchise. I'm not sure that the logo that I like would have definitely worked through the whole franchise. I don't know. The more I look at these and I see them all together, like I second guess myself because, I'm seeing them all and I'm like, well, that one could work. That one, I don't know if that one could work. And yeah. Yeah. But they changed the logos. It gave us something to talk about, and it's all good. Yeah. We're going to wrap things up. Before we do, let everyone know where they can find you on social media. Wendy?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm at Wendy Bridge. Twitter is Wendy Loves Jesus, or X. Wow, you can tell it's been a while since we've filmed, and my brain is someplace else right now. But because it's going to be Twitter forever, this X stuff. I need a shirt that's like, it's just Twitter. Boycott this X stuff. It's still crap. It's okay. Twitter X, Wendy Loves Jesus. And my blog is wendylovesjesus.wordpress.com.
Joel?
You can find me on YouTube. Just type in Planet Scooby.
You can find all my links on ScoobyAddicts.com. Let us know your favorite logo. Let us know how you would have created a logo. And thank you for joining us for another Scooby panel. Thank you for tuning in to another Scooby panel. I'm Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com. If you like these panels, please subscribe to my channel for more great discussions. A huge shout out to our patrons, Julie Rosen, Ross from ScoobyFan.net, Tagus, Garrett Spencer, Paul the Scooby Dude, and Jesse. If you would like to support the Scooby panel, please go to patreon.com/ScoobyAddicts. A very special thank you to artist, blogger, and Scooby collector Wendy BRYDGE and Joel from Planet Scooby. Scooby Panel is available in podcast form on most podcast platforms or as a web series on YouTube. You can find Scooby Panel on Instagram, Facebook, and X as @ScoobyPanel. We are part of the Collector's Maze Network, where you can find all things geek. Scooby and Shaggy were voiced by Scott Innes. Check out Scott's website, onescottshop.com. Scooby Addicts artwork by Will Davenport. Scooby Panel logo by Garrett Spencer. Video editing by Nikki Blake. Music composed and performed by Bovine Nightmares. Please join us next time for another Scooby panel.